A Manitoba judge made a remarkable admission in court today that systemic and racial discrimination played a part in the wrongful conviction of two Indigenous men who had their freedom robbed from them. Brian Anderson and Allan Woodhouse have proclaimed their innocence for half a century. Today, the judge told them, "You are innocent. You deserve acquittals. Your stories are stories of courage and resilience." CTV's Manitoba Bureau Chief Jill McIshon on the legal vindication and jubilation.
The cheers and applause followed the men outside the courthouse. For the first time, Brian Anderson and Allan Woodhouse were declared innocent of murder.
Well, I feel free.
50 years is a long time to wait.
In 1973, the men were sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Ting Fong Chan, a restaurant worker who was found stabbed and beaten on a Winnipeg sidewalk. There are accusations the Indigenous suspects were railroaded by police and forced to give a false statement. The men have always maintained their innocence. Each of them spent 2 decades in jail. Citing systemic racism, the Crown said today, our justice system failed to provide them a fair trial. The acquittal was granted, and Chief Justice Glenn Joyal declared the men innocent.
It's what I wanted to hear. I've been waiting for that for the last
50 years.
Million years.
To hear the judge say today to Mr. Anderson and Mr. Woodhouse, "You are innocent. I accept you are innocent." Those are amazing words to lawyers like us to hear.
This case, 50 years old, marks the most historic wrongful conviction fought by Innocence Canada.
We need an examination of at least homicide convictions involving Indigenous people over the last 50 years in this province and even in other provinces.
Today, Manitoba's Justice Minister issued an apology to the men.
I thought it was the right thing to do. These are two individuals who have lost time, who've lost freedom.
Woodhouse and Anderson now join the names of Manitoba's other wrongfully convicted, like James Driscoll and Thomas Sofino, men compensated for their time in prison. Next steps in this case will be announced in the coming days. Jill McIshon, CTV News, Winnipeg.